and that's just something I have to live with every day. So it's the doctor's fault.
How's that the doctor's
Children are
fault?
born Geminis.
What's up guys, the Antio here, and today we have a video called She's Risking Her Child's Life Over Astrology. Now me personally, I don't really believe in astrology. I used to, but you know, things change and whatnot. Now I don't care whether you believe in it or not. I don't think you should risk your child's life over it. You know, gambling with your child's life over astrology. I don't know, that's just something crazy that I would never do. Hell, especially even with real life gambling in terms of money. But without further ado, let's get right into it.
So now my daughter's a Gemini.
What?
And I love her. But she's only 2.5. And I do worry that I'm not gonna vibe with her.
It's
So
your
I'm not
daughter.
gonna lie, I'm not the biggest
What?
astrology guy out there.
Right.
No offense to anyone who is, but I just don't believe in it. I don't believe
yeah, I
that
don't.
the time and place and date you were born is going to determine your personality
I don't
and
know.
who you get along with and what you should do.
Before we get into the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little notification bell because I have a long journey ahead and I ain't stopping anytime soon. Now let's get back into the video. My whole motto is I don't care what date you're born. I don't even care what your personality type is. If you don't know mine is INFJ. But I don't care what personality type you are. If we vibe, and that's all that matters.
Among a bunch of other things. Obviously, as long as you're not harming anyone, you could believe in what you want to believe in. And
Yeah.
astrology isn't the most harmful thing in the world at the end of the day. But
Nah,
with that
not-
said,
not
from
that
what
much.
I've witnessed firsthand in person and from what
Could
I've
harm
also
yourself, though,
heard from
and other
people
people.
I know, astrology could definitely turn into a very unhealthy obsession that seeps into every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Which I guess that also applies to every other faith as well, for sure. And today we're going to be
can
taking a
disrupt
look
it.
at a perfect example of this. A mom who seems to
Not to mention there was not always 12 months. So how does that determine astrology now?
have
People
a
came up with
big
those
problem
at some point.
with her child, her baby. And that is her baby's zodiac sign.
So when I was pregnant, my daughter's due date was May 21st.
Okay.
And that's a Gemini.
Yeah.
But it's very close to not being a Gemini. And so I asked my doctor if I could get induced early so that my daughter would not have to live as a Gemini.
Induced.
I love how this was her biggest concern.
Like have them come out
Never
sooner?
mind giving birth to a healthy baby. You know, taking your time, taking it easy, and hoping the pregnancy goes smoothly. Nah, fuck all that. I refuse to let my baby be born a Gemini. She looked at the charts, I guess, and the compatibility
sense.
with her zodiac's just not there. And see, this is the point where
Don't matter.
the astrologers start looking like a lunatic.
If I could get induced early.
Inducing labor early,
That's
all
crazy.
for a star sign
All because
that
this is a
won't do
Gemini.
a single thing for your child. Which, if you don't know what an early induction is, it's
Yeah.
basically when doctors make it so you give birth as quickly as possible, maybe
Ah,
even
okay.
prematurely.
I had a
They
feeling.
give you medication, they apply medical methods, all
Now me, I was premature. I came out April. I guess mine's in Aries, but it don't matter because I don't really care, you know? That's kind of crazy. I was gonna be born in June, but I was born in April instead. Hey, 7 months, you get what you get.
so the person giving birth goes into labor as soon as possible.
Right.
And it's usually done in emergency situations where the baby or mother's health is at risk. Not really for astrology reasons.
Dude.
Very close to not
But
being
she's
a
doing it for
Gemini.
astrology. That's
And
crazy.
so I asked my doctor if I could get induced early so that my daughter would not have
I didn't
to
know that was a
live
thing where they
as
can
a
be born
Gemini.
sooner, like push it
And
faster.
she said that that wasn't a valid enough reason
It's not.
to get induced early.
They believe in science.
Yeah, no fucking shit that wasn't a valid reason. I mean, I can't believe the team of doctors aren't on the astrology bandwagon. It's funny how disappointed and
I think the doctors got common sense.
defeated she looks as well. Like, how
It's
could
not that
this
deep.
be that these doctors would let my baby be born a Gemini? How could they?
How
Don't
dare
they
you?
know that Geminis
How
don't
dare you
match
make my
with
baby born
star
something I
sign?
hate?
Now my child's not going to like me.
Right.
Meanwhile, inducing labor early has some pretty serious risks, not only for you, but also your newborn baby as well. Risks like infection, low fetal heart rate, a bunch of stuff. I'm just hoping that this child turns out all right
I hope so.
mentally while it's being raised by this person, but I don't know.
Never know.
Risking your child's life for
At this point, you can only pray because there's no telling what that baby's going to be like when it gets older. All you got to do is just hope for the best or teach them right at this point.
astrology, unreal. But I can't say I'm surprised.
The Gemini, and she said that that wasn't a valid enough reason
Imagine someone teaching her daughter better than she teaches
to
her.
get induced
That'd be
early.
crazy. And the world's
So now
already
my
crazy.
daughter's a Gemini, and I love her.
Okay, there you go.
But she's only 2.5, and I do worry that I'm not gonna vibe with her.
All right, so luckily this baby
Has she ever thrown a
sounds
punch
like
at
it
you
was
yet?
born
I mean, she's
healthy, but
fine.
imagine being this child all grown up and seeing your mom talking like this. How you're not gonna vibe with your child because of the day and time you were born on.
That's so dumb.
Like, that is fucking insane.
It's so weird.
Your personality
I don't
is
get it.
not predetermined by your star sign. What you do or are gonna do isn't predetermined either.
Is the username the forgotten gender? What does that mean? What's the forgotten gender? I mean, I've never heard of this so-called forgotten gender. I mean, I'm sure if it's forgotten, it's known now.
Who you get along with isn't determined. All of that can be controlled. This is a crazy idea, but how about raising your child to be a decent person?
Right, that's
and
the
getting
best
along
thing.
with them and being a good mom, rather than seeing them through the lens of a zodiac
astrologist.
Because the priorities are not in order here. Nope. And I hope
there's no priorities at all.
Out right for this child.
But she's only 2.5, and I do worry that I'm not gonna vibe with her.
What do you mean vibe?
And that's just something I have to live with every day. So it's the doctor's fault.
How's that the doctor's fault?
Are born Geminis.
Why Geminis? Is it because you're... Look, mine's Aries. I got friends who are not Aries. We still vibe no matter what. The signs don't matter. It's just about how we treat each other and how our personality tends to clash with each other. What is the star sign even... Why am I even trying to explain it? It's like I'm talking to a brick wall right here. Look at this brick wall. Yeah, I'm talking to that. That.
Sure, I've told this story on an old video in the past, but I remember hearing this conversation years ago with my old classmates about astrology. And it was a girl who recently started seeing this guy, but was having second thoughts about dating him because of...
Let me guess. Because of the star sign. Oh, she was a Sagittarius, but he was a Capricorn. I almost said a cornucopia. And that's why we can't date. You know, we're not compatible. You know, when I have a kid and they didn't have the same star sign, bet you I won't go to their graduation. Yep, I ain't gonna feed them. I ain't gonna give them nothing to drink. I ain't gonna give them no video games. Nothing. Why? Because their star's not the same as mine. Does that sound like it makes sense? Of course not.
Of his zodiac sign. It was like this huge deal breaker that was completely unacceptable to her. And I was at the table hearing this, just
this is so
soaking
dumb.
It all in. But long story short, her and her friend
I'm laughing because it's
concluded
just so
that she was
stupid.
going to cut things off with that guy. The star sign incompatibility was just too much, I guess. And I gotta say, he dodged a fucking bullet because holy shit, imagine
stars don't even care. They're just out there just
someone
living,
that
burning
obsessed with
energy.
something completely out of their control in life. I mean, it's almost like a mental illness.
It's like hating somebody for their height. They can't change their height. Now wait, I would say you should hate someone for their weight, but they can change it to become the person you probably wanted. But if that's the case, just find somebody else, you know?
Having something as random as a birthday,
I'm not making fun of her weight, I'm just saying in general.
Dictate how you view people and your relationships with them. Not to mention control your actions and implant ideas of what your personality should be. And I'm not surprised, you know, everybody wants to feel special, feel seen, part of this exclusive club. Astrology gives you that, but what it also does is it boxes you off. Your entire person.
Oh my gosh. Let me just read off some of these attributes. Okay, so mine's is Aries, mind you, right? I'm Aries, born April 9th. Now let me read this. Brave, willful, productive, enterprising, humanitarian. Now let's look at the negative attributes, all right? Moody, impulsive, impatient, assertive. Now I was looking at this one list a while ago, and it was talking about Aries and like the different adjectives and stuff, right? One of them said extrovert. I am an introvert. That thing said extrovert. And then the Aries was talking about stuff that I didn't even portray to. I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, I do not fit any of these. They're all wrong. They're wrong.
Personality and other people.
To me, at least.
Do you really want to feel that powerless? Is that really what you want?
It was describing me in a way that I didn't see it. I'm like, that's not me.
That's just something I have to live with every day.
Everything is random. Things can't be explained. Be yourself. Live life. Watch my videos.
Yeah, do that.
Children are born Gemini.
But anyways, I think that's going to wrap up today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more juicy videos coming soon to the channel, and let me know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, moral of the story, if you're into astrology or if you're not into astrology, hey, do you, but don't let it ruin your life or even your family. Like, it was just describing me in a way that I didn't see myself. I'm like, this is totally false. Like, it makes no sense. I don't get it. That was the video. If you liked the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this on my channel. Keep it chill. I love y'all, and until next time, peace out.